Gates.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, General, for your service and for being here. There's no place in the world where Iranian-backed proxy forces are a stabilizing feature of the terrain, is there?
Not that I would not characterize it that way, Congressman.
So in July of 2015, we have the birth of the JCPOA. Point in time until today, would we say that Iran has made the same investment in their proxy forces, a reduced investment in their proxy forces, or an enhanced investment in their proxy forces?
I think I would characterize it as an enhanced investment in their proxies and partners.
So since the JCPOA, we've got Iran putting more money behind proxy forces that are destabilizing in literally 100% of the circumstances in which they exist. In August of 2017, the Iranian parliament votes to increase their military spending. Are there particular capabilities that we think may emerge from that, particular tactics that Iran is investing in as they use more of the cash that they now have access to be a destabilizing hegemon?
Well, Congressman, as I mentioned earlier, I think as we look at the Iranian threat, I think what we've seen is not only an increase quantitatively, but in some cases an increase qualitatively in some of the capabilities that they have developed. They are using the opportunity of things like Yemen to, like we go out to China Lake to test our weapon systems. They go to Yemen to test their weapon systems. So they're taking advantage of these opportunities to improve their capabilities around the world. So I definitely am concerned about this.
You also test some great weapon systems off my district in Northwest Florida we're very proud of. My district's also home to the 7th Special Forces Group. They do a great deal of work in the CENTCOM AOR, and frequently they return home and then deploy to SOUTHCOM AOR to find themselves fighting a very similarly flavored enemy in radical Islamic extremists funded in many circumstances by Iran through their terror proxies. Are there areas within CENTCOM's AOR where there are training activities, where recruits are being brought in from other parts of the world, particularly the Western Hemisphere, and then essentially redeployed after receiving the CENTCOM AOR?
I'm not sure I can answer that in this particular setting here. I'm sure that there probably are.
Okay, well, we may chat about that a little later today then. Are there particular capabilities in the development of Iran's terror proxies that we find them particularly investing in, whether that's drone technology, whether that's guerrilla capability, the development of explosives?
Yeah, I think all of the above. I think these are all tactics that we've seen in the past. Certainly we're concerned about the increasing use of missiles of all short-range, medium-range missiles, and that type of stuff is very concerning. Their use of UASs is a particularly concerning, emerging threat for us here that we're concerned about. But I think the other things is that I think if we look at what Iran did what it took Iran to do. It took 20 years for Iran to do in Lebanon with the Lebanese Hezbollah. They're attempting to do in about 5 years with the Houthis in Yemen. This is very concerning to us. So I think they're accelerating their pace and their ability to do this, and this is something we have to be very concerned about.
I completely agree, and I would add to the list activities in the Western Hemisphere, where that very same game plan that we've seen Iran run in Syria, then on the Arabian Peninsula, and now in our own backyard, would continue that troubling trend line with an increase both in volume and in quality. As we look at the particular missile systems that you mentioned and the areas where they may be used, I look particularly to our ally Israel as a point of vulnerability. Do we see the Iranian, or in what capacity do we see the Iranians hardening their positions in southern Syria? And what feedback have we gotten at the mill-to-mill level from our ally Israel about their discomfort with that?
In this setting, I would just say I think we've seen, and we've seen in public media releases here, Israel has struck at some of these locations here that they have posed a threat to them. So, I think in this setting, I think I would leave it at that. That there certainly are some concerns there.
Great. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I look forward to our next session.